Africa, well, money will come. It will come, and I strongly believe that, because there's so much God invested in the continent itself, the resources, the people. It's just amazing. And of course, because of the abundance of what we have, that's why also evil is interested in there too.
Yeah.
Because you can't have all that abundant things sitting around and you're sitting on it. You got to have other forces playing here, and
Yes.
which is where we're going to be heading in a minute. So I'm glad that we're both here. We have a passion for God's creation, and passion for Nigeria, passion for Africa and its people and the resources. When the conscience is corroded, then we lose our moral compass. And so I'll share my PowerPoint screen with you as I speak on this. Conscience really is a gift from God. It's, we are created with it. Everyone has a conscience. It's part of the faculties that God has given us, including our mind, with all the other senses, sense of sound, taste, your 5 senses, sight, all of them, plus your mind, your heart, your imagination, your memory. Conscience is one of them. And conscience is actually helps you to discern what's good, what's bad. That's it's your moral compass. And God gave us a free will, and God will not take that free will from us. It's a gift that He has given us from the beginning of time. It's a free will, and because of free will, we are presented with a situation. Your free will comes in, and you have to make a choice. And in that decision making, you have to make the good or bad, one of them. And things that actually form your decision making could be things in your environment, your background, factors that influences you. You also have other factors that influences you to make a bad decision. But sometimes you find that we override that conscience when you know something is wrong and you really want to do it, either because you're being pressured by your friends or you want to impress your friends. If you go back to like when we were in school, in high school, you want to, you want to be the popular kid, or you want to belong, a sense of belonging, which we all cherish when we're growing. Or you're just curious. You don't want to turn people down. You override what you think is right. Okay, fine. And in those times when you do, initially you kind of like you're nervous. If you are first time you're presented with cigarette for you to smoke, your parents have told you don't do this. You've learned not to do it. There's kind of like anxiety inside you, and that's like, oh, should I be doing this? Should I be doing this? You're uneasy. You don't jump into things that you've been told morally wrong with ease. Because your body is warning you, don't go. So because of that warning, you're anxious within you. Of course, like I said, you want to belong, you want to whatever it is in your environment that you want to satisfy. So you override that conscience and do whatever it is. You take that first smoke and you're like, oh, your friends are there cheering you, say, yeah, you did it. And now I'm going to go to the next slide. They had him. So what happens the second time you meet with your friends again and they offer you that cigarette, that whole anxiety you felt the first time, you're not going to feel it again, right? Because now you have done it the first time. You got away with it. The second time is not going to be that, all that anxiety, all the things your parents told you. Yeah, it's not going. You remember, but it's not going to give you that kind of emotional. Oh, I'm not supposed to. Your resistance kind of diminished. Now, like, oh, I've done this before. I can do it again, right? You start. You begin to. Your bodies begin to adjust to this newfound freedom. That notice what's going on with your conscience. Your conscience is still there, but now you're slowly overriding its ability to do right. Because now you're not pouring in more negative things and kind of like suppressing that ability to judge. You know, GPS, I don't know if you are familiar with GPS. When you set where you're going, the GPS will calculate where you're going, tells you the route. But you don't want to take the route that the GPS is going. You have a different route. So you now take another route, the GPS will recalculate. You keep taking a different route, recalculate. Now you're sending a message to GPS, I want to take this route, not the route you want. Eventually your GPS is going to figure out that, oh, this is the route you want to take. So it will now readjust itself to follow the route you want. And that's basically how our conscience tends to work. When you keep overriding the righteous thing that you know, you keep feeding it this other route, eventually it would adjust to it. Say, okay, this is where you want to go. I'm going to go. So your conscience re-educates itself to accept what you want. And if you keep feeding it that wrong decision that you made, then your conscience starts getting corrupted because you no longer feel bad about what you're doing. You have overridden that ability for your conscience to keep judging. It's now getting familiar with the way you want to go. This is the way you think, okay. You have killed this ability to give you to make you judge between wrong and right. Because now all it knows is what you've been feeding it, which is the wrong way to go. So it becomes the conscience becomes hardened. Yeah. So you get to a point where you like see bad thing and you're like, oh, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with it. That's where a man will go steal somebody's goats and say, waiting. I only one I thief. The man gets 10. I only stole one. And you become telling your neighbors, say, I only stole one goat. And this man, selfish man, he got 10 goats. I thief one goat. Now they shout. Other people, and funny enough, other people will like, not true. That man got plenty goats. So he not feel let you carry one. Have you seen scenarios like that? And everybody start clapping hands and say, this man wicked though. We've got family that you are a thief. But because this person who has stolen, he has he has no way of navigating again, because this is now become his life. So whatever he does, he looks at you that you are the one depriving me. I have a right to be stealing your things. What is your problem? The conscience it's hardened, it's seared. So even if you and I are screaming and saying no, he doesn't know it anymore. Because he doesn't have that ability that we've all been given to be able to judge. His is dead. It's not functioning. So you and I could be talking from here till tomorrow. He doesn't get what you're saying because he doesn't have the capacity to do it anymore because of what he has continually overridden his own conscience. It's like a plant. If a plant is growing, you keep stepping on it, what will happen?
To die.
That's it. So, so sometimes we tell somebody, you get conscience. In reality, they probably don't, because they don't have that ability to make that judgment anymore. It's dead. Thank God he gave us a way to work with our conscience. That's why we have guilt. When we override our conscience, sometimes we have guilt, and guilt tells you, wait a minute, you've done something wrong here. Wake up. We'll make amends for it. That way you can claim back your conscience. But if you've done this so many times and the conscience itself is dead and you don't have this feeling of guilt, I'll go to the next slide in a minute. I'm going from general now. I'm going to go into specific. Are we good so far?
Yes, ma'am, we're good. I'm taking notes. But I agree with you and your presentation. So I'm taking notes. I'll ask a few questions afterwards. I'll make my general remarks afterwards.
Okay.
When you use the idea of stealing goods, you can use that petty goods steal thief, and then you can just replace it with Nigerian politician.
I'm just giving you the general condition of the human nature, how we do things. We'll get there. I will get there in a little bit. I told you I went to school of hard knocks,
Yes, you told me. Yeah.
where you
But
are
now,
both.
like, is it knocking you? Or are you the one knocking it now?
It goes that way. You're either learning or you're
Okay.
teaching. You are learning or
Okay.
you're teaching. So that's the school of life. You're learning or teaching someone, or you're learning from someone or something. So
Yes.